Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's take a look at using iMessage polls, including some uses for them that you may not have thought of. So a new feature in macOS 26, iOS 26, iPadOS 26, and so on is the ability to post polls in Messages conversations. Now, to do this, you must be using iMessage, not SMS or RCS. You must, of course, be using an operating system that's 26 or later, and also so must all of the other people involved in the conversation. So if you have a mixed group, some people using Apple devices, some not, then you may not be able to post a poll. So the way to do this works the same no matter which device you're on. I'm going to show you here on a Mac, but it works almost exactly the same on the iPhone and iPad. I'm going to start a new conversation here, and I'm going to add a bunch of people to this conversation. So you can see I've added some people here. They're all shown as blue, meaning they're all in iMessage. And this is only going to work if at least one device that they own has been upgraded to operating system 26 or newer. Now, to start a poll, you just click the little plus button, the same as you would to add any special feature to a conversation. If I click plus here, then I'll see all the special features I can add. Now, you may not see polls if it's a brand new conversation that hasn't had a single message sent yet. Usually the case is that you've got the conversation going already. Maybe it's been going for a long time and you want to start a poll. But in this case, this is a brand new one. So I'm going to send a hello message first to everybody. So now that the conversation is going, if I click plus, I'll find polls here. Click polls and allows you to insert a poll. Now, all you need to do is add 2 or more choices. So let's say you're getting lunch for a meeting and you want to give people a choice. So you might type these 3 options. Now you're always going to see one extra choice here. You can just ignore it. If you don't type something in there, then it won't be included. Now I want to add a comment to this saying what this poll is for. And I'll just press return to send it. And now you'll see the poll here. And other people will see exactly the same poll. It doesn't look different for you just because you created it. Now, you can make a choice. As the poll creator, you can choose just like anybody else. So if this is the kind of poll where you want to leave yourself out, just simply don't make a choice. The others can. So let's say one of the people made a choice like this. So you can see their icon kind of peeks out behind here, and you can see the bar gets a little bit bigger. If you make the same choice, you'll see your icon there. Matter of fact, that empty circle represents you, whoever is looking at it. After you've made a choice, you can click or tap again to remove that choice, and you can click somewhere else to make a different choice. And notice the bars now are even, and this one that nobody's chosen so far is smaller. And here comes a third choice in from one of the other people, and you can see now their name pops out here, and this bar is a little bit larger than the other one, which is larger than this one. So you can see who is winning and by how much by looking at the size of the bars. And that's pretty much it. You just basically make choices like that, and you can use it to help make group decisions. But there are a lot of little details to know about. For instance, you can make more than one choice. So here I've chosen pizza, but I could also choose pasta salad. Matter of fact, I could choose all 3 if I wish. Choices aren't mandatory. Not everybody has to make one, and they aren't restricted to just one choice. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MACMOST through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You could read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Also notice, of course, they're not anonymous. You could see who made each choice. As a matter of fact, you can control-click, right-click, or 2-finger click on this to bring up the context menu, or tap and hold on the iPhone or iPad and choose poll details. And this will show you exactly who has made which choices and who hasn't made a choice yet. The other thing you can do is you can click again to unchoose something. And people can do that at any time. After a decision has been made, people can change their mind in the poll at least, even if in the conversation you've moved on from it. But you can't change somebody else's vote. And that goes without saying for most people, but even if you created the poll, it doesn't give you any special permission to lock somebody out, change their vote, remove a vote, or anything like that. Another thing is, notice here where it says add choice. You can click that and you could add a 4th choice like that. And then it gets added to the poll. But note that anybody can add a choice. It's not restricted to the person that created the poll. That could be a very useful feature or very annoying depending upon your group. Also, there doesn't appear to be any way to edit these. So you can go to poll details and look at the choices here, but there's no way to edit the ones that have already been added. So you can't change something. Also, the results here, anybody could see, both here with the bars, with the icons of who has chosen what, and with poll details. This is available to everyone equally. So all this freedom for how polls are created, altered, voted on, and seen by everybody means that this should probably only be used for unscientific purposes among a group of friends or peers. You probably shouldn't use it when there's any politics or contentious stuff involved. For instance, it's probably not a good idea to use a poll like this among members in an HOA or to decide things among a board of directors, things like that. But this simple polling structure can be used in other ways as well. For instance, you can use it to gather attendance numbers like this. I'll click polls here, and I'm going to make the choices yes, and then tab to go to the next one, no, tab again, and maybe, and then I'll add the comment like this. Now, the advantage to this is that you can quickly see how many yeses you get. So, for instance, if you need to decide how big of a meeting room to get, and this is to a group of, say, 30 people, well, then it's pretty easy to see if you get 18 yeses and 2 maybes to make sure you have room for at least 20. So when you need to count things, it's really useful. Here's another counting example. Let's say that you want to order t-shirts for everybody at your company. So you may ask for sizes like that, and then ask people just to chime in with which size they want. So now you'll quickly be able to see how many of each size to order. And by going to the poll details, you'll be able to actually see who ordered what. And now remember how people can choose multiple things. This can come in really handy when you want to decide something and people may have multiple yes answers. Like for instance, let's say you want to figure out the best time to have a meeting. So I'll create a poll here and then I'll have some meeting times. Let's say 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. And then I'll ask like that. And then people may simply look at this and say, oh, I can make the 2 and 3, but not the 4 o'clock. And other people will chime in with different answers like that. And then hopefully you might come up with a time that works for everybody, or at least for most people. Sometimes the poll isn't something that everybody in the group needs to fill out. Like for instance, you may have, say, a dozen friends in a group chat, and you want to ask advice about something, like something to buy. You don't need to put a description in the comment after, and you can ask the description first, as long as you're willing to follow up with a poll right away. So I've got this poll, and maybe if just a few friends respond with an answer here, that's enough for you. And then, of course, just having the question there and the poll may get people chiming in with more detailed opinions. And here's another interesting use. You get into that situation where, say, you're planning something, maybe a party, and you have a list of items that are needed for the party, and you want people to select what it is they'll bring. You can use a poll for that. So then your poll includes all of these things, and then somebody can chime in with which one they'll bring, like that. You could chime in with which one you'll bring, like that. Others can add something else, say if they decide they want to bring it, and you can kind of organize the whole thing by using a poll like this. And here's my final tip. While it seems like polls are really something that needs a whole group chat to be useful, they actually can be used by just 2 people in a regular iMessage chat. Instead of asking somebody a question and then having them respond back with text, you could actually ask a question with a poll, and then they could respond with just one tap. So the question could be like this. Then I'm going to click the plus button and choose polls. It puts the message that I typed so far as the description down there. So if you prefer just typing them in that order, you can. And then you could ask the question. And then you can post the poll like this. And now the idea is, instead of them having to type one of these names, they could simply tap one of those to respond. But they still have the option to add a choice if they want, or just type a response if they want to do that as well. You're just trying to make it easy for them. And in addition to that, you can always vote as well, kind of giving them a hint as to which one you would prefer. But as you can see, it's perfectly useful among two people as well as a whole group. So I hope this gives you some ideas of how to use polls. Since they're so new, of course, people might be reluctant to use them because they may have friends that haven't updated to iOS 26 yet or macOS 26. But over time, that concern will go away as more people get newer devices and keep their devices updated. I'm not sure if this will ever be supported across platforms, but it certainly is a possibility as well. So I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Want to know about every new MACMOST video each week? Sign up for the absolutely free MACMOST email newsletter at macmost.com/newsletter.